Hey everybody, it's Stephen here with The Inner Gamer. We are still at PAX South 2018. We're having a blast. I just got done playing Divinity Original Sin 2 here at the Larian Studios booth. I'm here with Kieron. And hey, Kieron, how are you today?
I'm doing well, yeah. I mean, it's going good today. It's been a busy day. The queue really hasn't slowed down, so it's been a positive day.
Yeah, that's great reception. So this is Divinity 2 Original Sin. Tell us a little bit about the game overall for people who've maybe never heard of it before.
Sure, yeah. So Original Sin 2 is essentially a party-based RPG, but it's turn-based combat and it's heavily story-driven. So we've got over 1 million words in the game. Every single one of those is voice-acted. And yeah, I mean, because of the dynamic choices that you're going to have in game and the consequences that come with those, you'd be lucky if you experience half of that because of the way the system works and how different the world will react to you based on who you are and what you are.
Yeah, I can tell that playing this, and I played a little bit of the first one, that this game is really heavy in the details of that role-playing game aspect. So you're talking the characters you play have a different impact on the story as a whole. But how different is it from the first game to the second game?
Well, it's really different. So the first game, one of the things you would have experienced in the first game was one of our fundamental ideas is an N+1 design. So if we create a quest, there must be multiple ways of solving that quest. And actually one of the boasts that we made is that you can pretty much kill anybody in Original Sin 1 and you can still continue the game. In the same way you can pretty much kill anybody in Original Sin 2 and still continue the game. It might be pretty difficult, but you can do it. So like, we basically doubled down on everything that made Original Sin 1 good and just tried to make it as excellent as possible. So we also added a lot. So the N+1 is even more extreme than it was. So Fort Joy, you were playing in there. When you get to the island, you have to escape the island. There's over 13 different ways of escaping. Most of those are systemic, so not even written in by script. It's just cool ways you can use the tools that we give you to escape the island. And then like when you look at what we were doing, we added a huge amount. So we added the tag system, we added races. So you've now got 5 races. You've got the undead, which you obviously saw. And we are able to do that through a system we added in Original Sin 2 that wasn't there before, called the tag system. So the tags are essentially your race and your origin, but then they are also who you want to role play. So maybe you want to be a noble scholar. So I pick Noble Scholar. It's not just going to give me some interesting things to say in dialogue, but it completely changes how the NPCs react to me. So if we showed you a basic dialogue, you might think, oh, maybe this is just some huge part of the game. It's just a regular NPC because he's got various things to say to everybody. So if you're a lizard and I'm a dwarf, we're going to have a very different experience in this world because they're going to react to us just on that level alone, let alone if I'm a noble and you're a soldier or any of that.
So that sounds like that took a lot of time
Yeah.
to like really iron those kind of details out. Like what went into making that decision of we're going to make this the most in-depth role-playing game that anyone's ever seen?
So our CEO, Sven Vinke, has this dream to make the biggest RPG of them all, and he still hasn't done it. As far as he's concerned, this isn't even close. So you're a fellow DM. You know how difficult it is for a video game to even emulate the tabletop, and we're in my opinion, we're achieving that. But just like there's so much more we could do to do that, and we want to make sure that when someone goes into our world, they feel comfortable to just almost explore and do whatever they could do normally on a tabletop. And maybe that's never achievable, but we're definitely going to try. So yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, you and me have already talked a little bit. We're both huge D&D players. How long have you been playing D&D?
About 7-8 years, actually. I was a late bloomer. I only started when I was 20, so yeah.
Hey man, there's never a bad time to start D&D. It's just fine. But as avid role players out there may or may not know, this very heavily feels influenced by Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure.
What other kind of influences did y'all draw upon to make this incredible game?
Well, I mean, we're all old school CRPG nerds as well, right? A lot of us are anyway. And so, again, Sven's favorite game is Ultima. And so, I mean, if you look at some of the stuff that you can do in Ultima, and then look at what you can do at Divinity, one of our mantras, we actually have something on our HQ in Ghent in Belgium. There's a sign up on the wall that says, why can I move the plant pot? Because it's there. We want to make sure that the world is as interactive as possible, and Ultima definitely did that as well. And for its time, it was really advanced in that way. And so we're just trying to make sure that everything that you think you want to do, you can do, and then everything that you do has a consequence. And I mean, that's a huge challenge in itself. Like the 1 million words, that's only possible because we have an absolute team. We have 9 writers. No RPG has 9 writers unless it's because you have to make all this dialogue that you may or may not experience because of all those choices and consequences.
It's impressive as all hell. Now, shifting away a little bit from the role-playing aspect, I mean, mechanically, so far I'm seeing some subtle differences between this and Divinity 2. What are some of the things that are like really key that are different from the first to the second game?
Sure. Well, again, we didn't want to rest on our laurels, right? We always wanted to improve. And I have to say as well, we haven't really mentioned it, but this is a huge thanks to our Kickstarter community. You know, like releasing on early access, having a hardcore group of 40,000 fans and more who would like take some of our more raw ideas and really play with them and then give feedback that was really, really valuable. So with the combat system, we've added some things. We've added the height mechanics. So now if you go up on a height, you get the advantage, you get extra damage and range on a lot of your ranged abilities. We've added a lot of new spells. We've changed quite a bit. We've added some, you've now able to curse and bless things. So for instance, if I'm in fire, you cast a fireball on me, I can bless the fire and now it's healing me. Or I can curse the fire on you and you won't be able to douse it with water because it's necrofire.
Well, that just sounds mean.
Yeah, we also added the armor system. So one of the major comments on Original Sin 1 was as you progressed and got really powerful abilities, you could basically alpha strike people, right? You could basically make it rain, stun them all, and then it was an easy combat. So we tried to change that by adding in the armor system. So now there's physical and magical armor. So none of the status effects will impact you until you get through the armor. And so that actually means that there's a beginning, middle, and end to each of the combats. And then finally, we added a memory system, which is similar to, say, the spell slots that you might know.
Right.
So you now have like more advanced memory for more advanced spells. They'll take more memory slots and so on. So it's to try and balance it and make sure that you don't have all the absolute massive spells at the end of the game. You have to choose, which is a more difficult choice, and you get an interesting decision then. And yeah.
Well, all right. So this is obviously a very popular game, huge following from the first one. The second one's been just as successful. But for anyone who doesn't know where it's at or how to get it, where can people find Divinity 2 Original Sin?
Sure, you can find it on Steam or GOG, and it's $45, I believe, at the moment. Yep.
Right, well, guys, you heard it here, Divinity 2. If you like any kind of role-playing or if you play Dungeons & Dragons, go get it right now. Stop watching. Just go get it. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap up PAX South 2018. We have played a lot of games. We talked to a lot of really cool people. I'm exhausted, so I'm going to go get a drink now. But in the meantime, head over to theinnergamer.net. You'll see all the stuff over here. Subscribe, like us, follow us. We're going to have a lot of content coming out soon, so thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.